All right.
Woo, Daddy! We got the champ in the house today.
That's right.
Ooh,
We got
yeah.
this crazy lunatic that rolls around with the number 1 plate on his bike.
That's right.
Mathew
Thanks for
Scholtz.
having me,
The man
guys.
himself.
Wow, bro. I still am like, I haven't seen you since Saturday. I didn't really see you on Sunday, and holy shit, you shaved the stash off.
Yeah. Made a bet with the daughter guy that I was going to shave it off for one Saturday. So yeah, I won that one, and then I took the double on Sunday. So it was a very successful weekend for us. I'm very happy with how things went.
Well, I mean, if you kept the stash, you had a very lucrative opportunity in the porn industry.
Yeah, I did get quite
Right?
a few comments that I'm bringing the '70s porno stash back. I don't know if that's a compliment or if they're just ridiculing me. But
Yeah.
I mean, I digged it, got the photos on the podium with it on, and then I had to go.
It had to go.
For sure.
I feel that.
Awesome.
I feel that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining the Weekend Hangover. As everybody knows, we are here to talk about racing. This is not an interview show. We're here to talk with experienced people, not experienced people. We're just happy to have your opinion on the show about racing, and we just want to hear what your thoughts are about all different types of racing. I know you were at the Ridge all weekend, kicking some butt. So obviously,
he kicked everybody's butt.
Yeah.
Right?
So, obviously the MotoGP stuff was in the back of your mind. You're not even worried about it. So, totally understood if you didn't get a chance to catch up on any of the racing over the weekend. But, you still have opinions. So that's what we love to hear. And, that's what the fans and everybody in the chat want to hear about. So, we could
Did you watch MotoGP? Truthfully, I haven't watched any of it yet.
Yes. I did. Myself, Cam Peterson, Bobby Fong. A couple of us went to Jake's Airbnb on the Sunday after the race and watched the MotoGP and Moto2. So yeah, I'm kind of caught up. I definitely follow the MotoGP championship pretty.
He's more caught up than you are, Dustin, and he was racing all weekend.
Dude, yeah. Well, he wasn't riding in the van with Darren, and yeah.
No, but you had a very nice ride to and from the airport. So
yeah, Empower Charters, man, gotta love it.
Yep.
Right.
I had to razz you a little bit on the Empowered Charters and your Ric Flair limousine riding, jet flying, Rolex wearing, son of a gun.
Yeah, woo! Right. Yeah, it's pretty cool. The limo ride thing is really cool, and Vin and the guys that run Empower Charters, super great, man. They give me a ride to the airport and back every time, and the ride to my house from LAX ain't exactly a hop and a skip. You know what I mean? So,
no.
Yeah.
You gotta drive through all the needles and bums to get to your house.
Well, it's all freeways, a couple hours though.
And listen, I am already started working on Ben's ride to the airport. So,
okay.
I already hit up buddy. I'm like, hey man, we got this local guy who races professionally, needs a ride from Daniel Island to the airport. What can you do, man? So,
well, the guy that owns Empower Charters saw that and he loves it. He loves the idea. He's like, oh wow, that's cool. So, yeah,
we'll get them connected. Well, awesome. First off on the agenda tonight, Chris and Daniel watch.
I got nothing.
Nothing.
So, dude, I was so busy doing the attack thing. It takes up everything, So,
well, that's it.
There's a lot going on in the attack bit during the race weekends. All right. So,
how was the weekend for you guys? I didn't get to watch the second race on Sunday. I know that Gagne finished on the podium. I saw that something might have happened to old Fonger there.
Yeah, Fonger. I don't know. I think he got a bad tire or something. I'm sure Richard will talk about it in depth tomorrow night on the Superbike Genius. But yeah, I think Bob got a bad tire and he just he couldn't lean the thing over.
He dropped like a rock, man. It sucks.
Dude, I'm just glad that he didn't get beat by Flinders.
Yeah, Flinders was really itching to get that one. He was shaking his fist when he crossed the line.
Yeah,
because somebody stuck it. Didn't Max overcooked it into the the top of Lombard Street or whatever. He was trying hard, and then Bob got him back, and then held him off.
Yeah, Bob was pretty fired up, and you could imagine he was probably less than stoked with what happened, and like he wasted no time to punch out.
Yeah, you could definitely tell by his vibe on Sunday at the house afterwards that he wasn't too pumped with how things went. So I knew that it wasn't a race that you guys were kind of thinking he would have. But yeah, Bobby's been very, very strong this season, and I'm sure Laguna Seca is going to come back and compete for podiums there.
Well, I mean, he didn't like suddenly forget how to ride from Saturday to Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. You can definitely
clearly there was some kind of problem,
Yeah, for sure. And if we're going to talk superbikes, Ben had a rough weekend. With the crash on Sunday, and he did pretty good on Saturday. But the crash on Sunday was a bit of a bummer. So
those guys, I mean, Matt's probably can relate to some of that too, in superbike. When it goes right, everything's great. You can do whatever you want on the thing, and when it goes wrong, it's like, holy shit, did I forget how to ride?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks. Like for Fong there, last race out, you got podiums, and then suddenly now you're battling around 7th, 8th place, and you always start to second guess yourself. Like you were saying, like, holy shit, did I actually forget what I'm doing here? But I know Bobby's a brilliant rider. He'll figure it out again at Laguna Seca. I know he did well there, in 2024. So I'm sure he'll be back on the podium hunt.
Yeah, I mean, I see in the chat Rick Jenkins saying that he thinks Fong could have picked up, at least a couple of seconds per lap if he had a better looking umbrella.
If he was holding that, yeah.
I apparently he's talking about me, but I was holding the umbrella for Jake, so
he podiumed. I mean, that was also really cool to see Gagne back on the dry weather podium. If it's wet,
he led every session too. Like Jake looked like Jake again. I mean, I was kind of doing spotter duty over the weekend and watching a certain few places on the track and seeing what the guys were doing and filming it a little bit and then showing them what they're doing compared to, say, some of the other guys. And one of the things I saw about Jake, and it's something I haven't seen in a while, like I've been seeing glimpses of Jake, the old Jake, coming back out, but the one thing I noticed at the Ridge is he does this thing where he gets to the last left-hander at the bottom of the waterfall and basically stabs the thing. Stabs the thing, full lane angle. The bike kind of raises up, and then he transitions from full left to right on the back wheel. Like, that's kind of nuts looking.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the like strengths that Gagne has is how quick he's able to get it off the side of the tire onto the like fatter media part of the tire.
Yeah.
Like a lot of guys lift it up slower in a more progressive manner, trying to find the grip constantly throughout that like motion from going from the side up. Whereas Gagne just seems to kind of really focus on getting straight off of the side as quick as he can, getting that thing, up on the meaty part and trying to fire it out of the corner.
Yeah, he does this cool hip flick thing that he does. It's nuts. It's bananas, dude. Like, that guy is insane.
But I told Ben when he was getting ready to jump on the superbike, I said, that's what you need to focus on, is getting the hip flick. And I sent him videos of Jake, and I'm like, you start doing that, you're going to start going fast.
Is that what you were doing on superbike back in the day, man?
No, definitely not.
No hip flick
I wasn't
for you,
replicating a Gagne. Let's put it that way. I wish I was, but yeah, I'm definitely more front end base guy, and I think Gagne definitely likes to use the rear of the bike a little bit more.
It's the motocross background.
Maybe
maybe
we checked the date codes on the tires, and they were basically the same. I think Jake's was a week older than Bob's.
I mean,
Bob's a front end guy. Bob's a definitely front end field guy, and Jake, like you said, maybe Jake had the same tire. He didn't care because he's not that guy.
Yeah.
Respectfully speaking, The US Dunlop tires, you do kind of tend to find one or two faulty ones in there sometimes. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if it's different batches or how they were made, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was something like that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Let's
Respectfully
talk about
speaking,
you. I mean, let's talk about you, man, because I mean, obviously you kicked everybody's butt this weekend. You had a couple of people that were right there, though. I mean, dude, that Tyler Scott was right up on the back of you till he on race one
So it
till he
wasn't.
checked into the scenery there.
I saw on the board it was like, I mean, maybe 1.2 seconds, and then next lap 0.7, 0.5, 0.3, and I really had to look back because I was like, holy shit, who the hell's catching me? And I saw Tyler. I knew that he had a good qualifying, but I didn't think he was going to have that pace. I think he did a 42.3 with 5 laps to go, and I
Yeah.
kind of responded a little bit on the following lap. I did a 42.4, so pretty close to that, and then I don't know if it was that lap or the following lap he crashed, but yeah, he was definitely pressuring me. He was coming on strong. I think it was quite a shock for him to kind of gap PJ into latch on to the back of me, but
Yeah.
uh, unfortunately he crashed. But I know that he picked it up and still finished like maybe 6th or 7th.
Yeah, he still
Yeah.
got a pretty decent finish, but it
Yeah.
was a shame because we're all, as fans, we're all like, man, we want to see a battle up front. We want to see some mixing it up,
It's
and
cool.
I don't
Like
want to
we
have a
never know.
battle up
Like
front.
Maddie, I mean, obviously, I talk to you at the beginning of every weekend, right? And
Yeah.
and your answer to me just about every time is, I'm gonna go win the thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I mean, after last year winning the championship and the R9 being such a strong motorbike, I mean, if I don't win, I consider it to be a failure of a race.
if you
yeah,
ain't first, you're last. Is that
yeah,
At this point, yeah. Obviously last year coming into the Supersport Championship, it was a bit of a different deal.
yeah.
We know that we went to tracks only looking to get top threes, but with how strong the R9's been, and obviously being the defending champion, we're going there to win.
I did have some questions. So between both bikes, man, like, what do
yeah.
you like about each of them?
I just like how long the R9 motorbike is. My starts have been really good. It's very easy to kind of predict what the like back end of the bike's doing to kind of slide it a little bit more. I think that the R6 was kind of, you have to keep things in line, and if it's not, you're getting yourself into trouble quickly. But in the R9, you have a little bit more like torque, and you can rotate the bike a little bit, easier on the side, and definitely has more like punch coming out of the corners. And I
Mm-hmm.
think we've been about half a second to 1 second quicker at every track that we've gone to so far
Wow.
this season. But also, the rules have changed slightly. Last year was just kind of a like stock bike. This year we can change, triple clamps, offsets, links. So, I don't know whether the faster lap times have come down to that, but I would say that the R9 definitely has got something there. That's
Like
helping us
baby
find
super
these
bike.
quicker laps. So, I mean, I would say the R9 is kind of like halfway between the R6 and the R1, and I won championships on both of those bikes. So I'm just gelling really well with the R9 right now.
The triples.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
I like it. Yeah, I mean, I've been having fun on that bike. We just kind of got a few new parts to give me a little bit more, like space on the bike. Kind of push the handlebars a little bit more forward. It's given me room to feel a little bit more like comfortable on the side of the tire. And
Mhm.
yeah, very very positive weekend.
yeah.
Oh,
So talk about the thing that everybody's talking about is the R9 is slow down the straightaways. What do you think? Is that accurate? Would you call that accurate?
I wouldn't call it slow, but it's definitely a little bit down in the top end speed compared to the V2s and the Suzuki's maybe. But I think Yamaha aren't really known for being a very horsepower based motorbike. I think that they really focus on the handling and the frames of the motorbikes, and you can clearly see that. When it comes down to tracks that you're spending a lot of time on the side of the tire, the R9 seems to be the much preferred motorbike out there.
There you
I
go.
was uh, I was really surprised about the performance at the very beginning of the year in World
Yeah.
Supersport with that swing arm because the swing arm does not look like much. and that was a
It looks
concern.
like a drag bike out there.
It looked like a dirt bike swing arm to me. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of got that shape.
Like you took a YZ450 swing arm and painted it black. Is that
threw it on there? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because like the R6 swing arm looks awesome. You know, it's got a nice shape to it. You know, all the other 600s, but then they come out with this thing, and it's like it's impressed me quite a bit. And you know, between World Supersport and MotoAmerica, you know, it's been really cool to see that bike. Right, I mean, it's like it haven't skipped a beat. They just took the 6 off and put a 9 on, and it's still at the front. So
are those? I think World Supersport. I might be wrong here, but I think World Supersport and MotoAmerica are the only places that are actually racing that thing yet, right?
Well, I wouldn't know. I just watched the World Supersport Championship, and I was really, I watched the British Superbike racing sometimes, but yeah, I haven't really focused on anything else. But I think in the US Championship, it's definitely the much preferred bike. You know, you can see that it seems like PJ has to ride that V2 really hard to kind of keep up with the smoothness and the rolling speed of the R9. So, I mean, it's obviously the first show riding the motorbike. You know, on the Fridays we really having to kind of learn what the bike likes at certain tracks, figure out the gearing. You know, for this weekend on the first Friday practice, myself and Blake Davis had completely different gearing. You know, he was using first in a couple corners, I was using second, I was using fourth in this one, he was using third. So it definitely helps having Blake as a teammate there, but we still have quite a few things that we need to figure out. And going to each track, I'm starting over fresh.
that's
Are you using first? Did you adjust your gearing and start using first later in the weekend, or?
No, I wasn't using first. I have a pretty strict policy that I don't want to use first unless I really, really, really have to. You know, obviously Coda is one of those tracks that you don't have a choice, but you know, when I don't have to use it, I would rather not kind of take the chance of going through, you know, the neutral lockout.
Oh, you don't have a neutral lockout on that yet?
No, unfortunately not. So
that's
I think
phase
that
2
you
of
can
the.
ruin your whole, qualifying or race or whatever if you just kind of have to put it into neutral one time. So I'm always very anti trying to use first.
Yeah,
I forced to.
That's so sketchy.
That makes sense.
Yeah. As far as like, you know, we're looking at the whole season and everything, you're really starting to pick up your stride. And it just seems like, you know, last year is kind of about the same thing. Where just you start to pick up your stride right at the right time, and then you're just firing on all cylinders. You know, I think for us, like, we're loving it because now you've cut it down to 10 points, and man, it's like we've got Laguna, Mid Ohio, VIR, you know, a lot of really good tracks that are coming up, and you know,
going to places where Matty murders.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, Laguna Seca is going to be a pretty decent battle. PJ beat me both of the races last year with a final lap pass, so that one stung last year. So I'm hoping to get something back now. But yeah, I think Laguna, VIR, Mid Ohio, Coda are all tracks that should be strong for me. So I'm looking forward to this middle part of the season, trying to claw some points back. But yeah, I mean, PJ, you know, wherever you're going to go, he'll be good. He'll figure something out. You know, this weekend after qualifying one, it kind of seemed that I wouldn't even have to worry about PJ. But on Sunday, he obviously figured something out, and it was there for all 15 laps. You know, that was mentally one of the most challenging races. You know, pushing on the absolute limit every single corner, feeling the front tucking or almost crashing, and then you look at the board and +0, +0.
Like, shit, he's still there.
I know. I'm like, dude,
he's still there.
Back, man. Like just on me like a friggin' rash. But yeah, fortunately on the last lap, managed to hit the quickest lap and kind of gap him slightly. But yeah, that was very, you know, shocking that he was able to do that. But like I said, man, PJ is, you know, incredible, and he always figures something out. So it's going to be a battle all the way through the.
So you mentioned a minute ago about having a teammate helping you out, kind of, you know, it's kind of helpful. Yeah. Do you think having a teammate is helping you avoid, you know, you kind of had when you were riding Superbike anyway, you always had a reputation for having the mid-season slump, so to speak. And
Yeah.
since you've been on the Strack program, we haven't seen a mid-season slump. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that came from just, going to certain tracks that just didn't really suit me, which I kind of struggled a little bit more on the superbike because, a bad race for me in the super sport class would be like, third or fourth, whereas in the superbike class, like you just saw with Fong now, a bad race is seventh, eighth. There just seems to be a little bit more faster guys that kind of ride at the upper pace. So I think you just suffer more when there are faster guys. But fortunately for me on the R9 and with the Strat crew, we kind of figured out a lot of these tracks that I have struggled with previously and kind of sorted out of that mid-season slump. So
yeah.
I'm not fighting for my contracts in the last few rounds of the season.
Well, I mean, it's your championship to take back, right? I mean, you got
Yeah.
you got a big old target on the front of your bike in that one plate, right?
Yeah, I mean it is definitely pressure carrying the number one plate, but it's a privilege to have. I mean, obviously I've never really stayed in a class that I could actually defend the title. When I won the South African Superbike Championship, I came over here. When I won the Stock Thousand Championship, I moved up to the Superbike Cup. So it's the first time I've actually been kind of back into that same category and class and fighting to try to hold on to the number one plate, which is really cool.
So it's your number one plate then.
Yeah, it's mine. Everyone better back the hell up. I'm keeping it.
Yeah. So speaking of Stock 1000, we had the Superbike Cup guys there, and they actually did a really good interview with Jason Waters about him and doing, progressing up there. Have you noticed a bunch of some of the guys in Stock 1000 that have been kind of the ones that are able to make it to the Stock 1000 or the Superbike Cup? Have you noticed a difference with their riding at all? When they're going, because you got Jason and Andrew, they're off until VIR.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a big miss where JD's out there. He's out there getting top tens in Superbike.
Yeah, I mean, I think that track time will always help, and considering it is on the same bike so that actually race in the Superbike or the stock thousand category, it's always good. Even if you aren't racing at that specific track, you're figuring out gearing, setup, what the bike wants. So yeah, I think that it's definitely helping these stock thousand guys having that extra Superbike Cup time on the track. Also, you can see guys. I think Ashton Yates, how he's progressed over the last 2 or 3 seasons. He does the
Yeah.
Superbike Cup, and then I think he does like a half Superbike deal, but it's not like a full-fledged thing. But yeah,
Right.
I think this weekend was a very good one for him. It's also nice to see that Hayden Gillim was up there as well. I think he qualified third. So
Dude.
it seems like the Honda
Fourth,
boys
yeah,
really.
he was up there on fourth.
Dude,
Yeah,
work boots had the work boots on, dude, and it was
yeah.
rolling.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seems like those Honda guys are figuring something out, which is great. It's always
Yeah.
nice to see some more manufacturers joining the front battle of the championship.
Well, yeah,
It's deep, dude. Superbike's deep.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, and you know what? We all kind of got our asses kicked by the Ducati this weekend, like all of us.
I saw that Heron
Holy
won that
shit.
second race by 5 point something seconds. It's a bit of
Dude.
hiding, but I mean, I think even in the World Superbike Championship, if you take Toprak out, because he's just the best guy there by far.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Ducati would be dominating, the podium spot. They always lock out at least 3, 4 of the top 5 or 6 spots.
Right.
It just seems that is the best bike at this point. But hopefully Yamaha can figure something out. I know they got a little bit of concessions in the championship, so hopefully we can see them start to battle up at the front again. Because it does get a little bit boring just seeing 1 or 2 bikes up there. I'm really hoping that we can get some more guys. Whether it's
Yeah.
Yamaha,
You ask Richard.
Honda,
Richard wants to keep it boring, but he wants our bikes up front.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. I mean, back into the days when I think Gagne and Bobier were busy winning 18 out of 20 heats, it made us look like good assholes out there, when he was dominating everything. So, I mean, I think it just, just kind of, I think that the paddock takes its turns.
Yeah. Yeah, the ebb and flow, right? I mean,
It was the first weekend that the top 5 spots were all taken up each by a manufacturer.
Nice.
The first time.
Yeah.
That was huge.
Ducati, BMW, Yamaha, and
Honda, Suzuki.
Honda, Suzuki.
Because Richie was in 5th.
That's right.
And Hayden was in 4th.
Right on.
So that was a big deal, and that was really cool. I know. So Trevor texted me and sent me the picture with all the HRC brass on the Road Racing World pictures. So like Mark Marquez's old Data guy, the Japanese dude with the flat top, he was there.
Yes. I did see the main. I don't know what that guy's name is, but I saw the main HRC MotoGP guy. I think that he's the same as them, basically bringing Davide Tardozzi over here.
Yeah.
I know that he was helping the one kid in the Supersport class, Ryota or something. That's kind of, I went ahead and get him on the Friday after he had qualified 4th or 5th by that point. And I was like, hey, dude, did that MotoGP guy bring some special motors, or what the hell happened? Yeah, you guys went from being a little bit further back to being only 0.2 off of pole.
Yeah.
They just said that they figured something out, but it was cool.
Yeah, he's got the Scooter swing arm on there, and I know that they had...
Dude, it's not just a Scooter swing arm, because they had to do some custom modifications.
Well, and I don't think there is K-Tech on that bike anymore.
That's interesting.
What are they running? The Odin stuff?
Yeah, because I did some Googling and I pulled up the 2025 HRC World Superbike, and they are Olin's bikes. They are no longer Showa.
Okay.
So I think they're like, all right, we need to get the good stuff from MotoGP on these bikes. So they probably
I don't know, dude. I don't know. The K-Tech guys are all up in their pit. So
still? Okay. Well, maybe they are still running it, but I know the HRC guys are not. They don't run. World Superbike doesn't do Showa anymore, so I'm sure that they've got some Olin's parts, or they probably do something for
Poor Ashton ended up on the ground, didn't he? So
yeah, I know in the first race they had a bit of a first corner pileup.
He was in that
I know that it was like Ben Smith, Ashton Hayden, 1 or 2 guys.
No, Ben was on the inside of that, went through.
Yeah.
Supposedly, I guess there was some bar banging. It happens.
Yeah, Ashton hit Hayden, but we don't know exactly what happened.
Yeah, I mean, but you got one of the tightest corners off of 250 yards of a start, and one of the most packed grids. I've always said that I think we should just go through the chicane off of the start, and then from the second lap around just do the chicane regularly.
It's oddly enough, I had a rather interesting conversation about that very thing. I can't remember who I was talking to.
Hopefully it was Chuck.
Chuck Axlin. But I can't remember who was standing there with me. But yeah, Chuck Axlin was like, "Oh yeah," and so he's like, "What's your data point? How many people have crashed there on the start versus?" And so we had a discussion. He's like, "Look, we had people test it going the other thing," and he's like, he says the risk of going into the tree line right there is just as great. There's like a wall there on that left. So he's like, you bottleneck at a higher rate of speed and you're hitting a wall.
Yeah, but I think you also have the argument of saying that the further along you are, the more like spread out the field is. I think it's same as the road America first corner, one of the fastest corners, but you are a little bit more like spread out, and you've kind of like jostled as to who's sitting where going into that corner. Instead of being right in each other's asses. But I mean, that's a little bit past my pay grade. I'm just the guy.
About that one.
Yeah, you're just a loose nut on the seat.
Yeah. I mean, that's all I'm getting paid for. I'm not out there making the calls.
Yeah, I remember Jeff got hurt 2 years ago really badly in that first corner.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh yeah, it was a big pile up because he qualified really well, and then he just got jammed up in turn 1, and it was
did a few years ago Alex Dumas had a crash and broke something on his hand or something.
Yeah, there's quite a few guys
further into the corner, like at the exit of that part.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, and there was also quite a big bump coming into the left-hand part of it as well. You know, same as where Tyler crashed, I crashed, Ben went down there.
And just a heads up, Summers, Sean
Same
Summers
for
has
everyone else, though. You know,
Sean Summers has a comment for you. You said something about something being above your pay grade, and that's kind of like indicating that you're actually getting paid. So.
A little bit, yes. To the races, yeah.
Yeah, nice one, Sean.
Oh man. So Super Hooligans, you know, Jake the Snake, man, dude's getting it done. And I want to have a big shout out to Andy DeBrino at his home track, got on the podium on the Triumph. Woo woo!
I don't think there was any rider in the paddock smiling ear to ear.
Was that on the Saturday's race? Because I just managed to watch Sunday before I was.
Yeah, Saturday's race.
I did see that Andy was absolutely smashing them on the Friday practice. I think he had like maybe a second gap or something. So
he got on pole.
Yes, yeah. I know. I saw he was whipping them on the Friday. I didn't manage to see Saturday morning, but yeah. Where did he end up on Saturday? Just in third?
He got third.
Okay, yeah. How was the Triumph in that class? Because I know that the Harleys have been dominating from what I could see, and I know that they had to add like something crazy, like 36 pounds onto their bike.
It was 25 pounds, or the equivalent of Corey West's baby. So, yeah, we had Corey on. We had Corey on not long ago talking about it. We thought it was pretty funny because was talking about getting the baby Bjorn so he could just add his kid on the weight. But
strap to him.
Yeah, so being Andy's home track, we all know he goes really well there. Like that's his jam. So even on the KTM is not as good as it was. He was always up there on that bike. So he definitely put it down. Now I know because I had a good conversation with him because I own a Triumph Daytona, and I have a 765 motor in it, so it's a Moto2 clone, and he's running a 22 year bike, which doesn't have as good of a motor, but the electronics is able to do the Woolwich racing. So he's not on as good of a bike as Jason Waters, because Jason Waters has the new bike. Obviously, I know a lot about that bike because my boy Mike Godin built it. So, you know, the bike is not as good, but he just rips on that bike. So very impressed with that.
He was pretty stoked to see the weight gained on the Harleys too. Right?
Yeah, I'm sure it definitely helps if, well, you know, should actually help him, you know, having the other guys carry that much weight around, because it's not something that you're constantly moving. Like if you have that weight, you know, maybe if you weigh 25 pounds more than someone else, you can, you know, move yourself backwards and forwards. But when the weight is just stuck on the bike, it's really kind of hard to kind of figure out where to actually put it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Sunday's race for the Hooligan was really good. You know, I saw Jake, James Rispoli, and Corey West going backwards and forward, and I think Corey West had a very good final lap to hold of James, because it looked like he was coming on strong those last 2 or 3.
Yeah, it was definitely a good race. There's a lot of good racing in Hooligans, man. As much as we'd like to see a bit more disparity with maybe the MT09 up there, and you know, Dominic Doyle and Giacomoto Racing,
and Hawk Mazzata, aka Matthew's teammate.
Yeah, yeah. I know that he wasn't happy with this weekend's results. He's a pretty talented guy, so you know, I know that Laguna Seca is his home race, so he's looking forward to that. And hopefully put that thing up near the front, because it doesn't seem like the MT09s are quite up to scratch as what some of the other bikes are. And I don't know if that's a horsepower thing, or if they still kind of figure out what the bike needs to go faster.
Yeah,
I think it's a horsepower thing, because I know the 765 is north of 130 horsepower, and I don't know what the Harley's putting out, but
what about the Arch bike? You know, I
Corey made it the whole weekend, and he looked really good on that bike. Who did he get, a P5?
I think that's their best result, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean it's really cool to see a brand new manufacturer coming out. What sort of motor are they using? Do you guys know? Is it a Harley motor with the arch frame,
Oh
or
no,
what they're
dude.
doing?
No,
It's
it's their own
completely
deal.
built. Okay, sure.
Yeah, it's all billet. It's epic looking. Like
Yeah.
full prototype looking. It's awesome. They're definitely swimming in the deep pool there, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was really funny. My daughter came in last night when I was working in my new shop, and it was. She was like, "Hey, was it Keanu Reeves that we saw at Road Atlanta?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh my gosh, he's on with Dude Perfect," and she was all pumped about it. And my wife didn't believe her. I was like, "No, he was there. We just didn't get to talk to him because he's,
Yeah.
being berated." I'm like, who wants to go bother the guy? He's probably got enough going on." But I love that he's there and he's, enjoying
Dude,
it. He's all
it's
about
not
it.
just that he's enjoying it. He's super Motorhead guy. Like
Yeah.
that dude, I was like I told you guys before, like I was spotting for the guys, and so I'm down there like at the bottom of the waterfall by the, just outside of the bleachers when he rolls up. I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" I haven't seen him at the track in a while, whatever. And I'm like, "Hey man, so check this out. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I saw Bob do, and we're trying to record him to do it so he can see it." And he's like, "Show me." So like Keanu's standing there with me, and I'm like, "Watch him." And then the reaction, like if you like on MotoGP when he saw that, like, oh, like
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
dude, that's real. Like that's
Yeah.
how he is, bro. Like it was pretty cool. Like so we like that dude and I stood there and watched the rest of practice on the
That's
sideline
awesome.
right there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy. I know that he's been, working on motorbikes, and he likes to actually, like, ride himself. I had a friend that, yeah, I met you 2017, and he actually went to his like private shop where they were kind of building motorbikes. But it's really cool. He's
Yeah,
now into the Moto America Championship, and making their own motorbike and bringing a camera crew out and got their
yeah,
own series going. And I think that can only help the championship. So it's a really cool deal. I think that it
yeah,
benefits not just them, not just Corey, but the whole championship, really. To kind of have
yeah,
that high profile star coming around. I would love to get a photo with him one of these times, but you just hate to be that guy that like
dude.
fanboys over him when he's there to
Listen,
be like serious and look out for his own team.
I
are
take
they
photos
gonna
with
be
you guys, but I'll never do that to him. Like, no,
Yeah.
are
no.
they gonna be at
It's John Wick, dude.
VIR?
It's John Wick. Sorry.
Are the hooligans gonna be at VIR?
I know that they go to Laguna Seca, and then I think it's maybe Jersey after that. I know that they've got Laguna Seca, then they've got one more round after that. I'm not 100%.
I gotta
Mm.
look it up because I'll be at VIR. So if they are there, I will do the awkwardness and just
Oh, I'm sure you
I
will.
will take I will take that bullet for you. I'll make it happen.
That'll be so cool,
When
man.
when that guy and others in that same career path that he has, when they come to my events, like I even like pull my crew aside and like, "Hey, don't screw with this guy.
Don't
Let him do his
fanboy
thing."
too hard over the guy.
Oh,
Yeah,
hell no,
just let
dude.
him have
Hell
fun
no.
and be cool. He
Let the
doesn't want
dude
to be
ride,
paraded. Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
because we've had quite a few of those actor types come out over the years, and it's like, you know, everybody wants to do all that stuff, and it's like I call it no starfucker stuff. No
Yeah.
starfucker stuff at all. But meanwhile, I do that, and then I walk up to Matt. I'm like, "Hey, bro." Hmm."
You're just one of the boys. I don't care to anyone really. Dustin's always carrying his little GoPro pole around, so I know when he's busy walking over, he's gonna ask me something.
Yeah, I
Dude,
did
there's
notice that.
there's a guy in your pit, Josh Alverson, that's kind of working on Hawk's bike, I think.
Yes, yes, yeah,
And I've
legend.
known I've known Alverson for 20 years or more, right? From Willow from back in the day. And every time I saw him, he's like, "Oh, where's the camera?" So one time I chased him with it into your pit.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a cool guy. Yeah, I didn't think that he joined this year working on the Hawks bike. But yeah, it's always great to have him there. I think he's worked with a lot of really professional teams.
Yeah, yeah.
um so it looks like we got a new guy in the chat, Abraham 4131. I think you probably met him at the Ridge. He did make a comment earlier about our friend Chloe. Yes, she is working with Arch on data, and she does work for Michelin Tires. So I just wanted to answer that question. I'm not going to answer any of Sean's questions.
Be on the lookout for the next Chronicles of Crewman 37.
Did you talk to Chloe?
I talked to lots of people. I know I talked to her. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't talk to her on camera. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to take on Crewman 39 since that's my number. So
yeah. Well, good luck with that, bro.
No. So just one last bit on the Twins Cup. Alessandro Di Mario crushing it.
Smashed him.
Yeah. And nobody got a chance. Really bummed about our boy Sean Avarsky. He just had a rough weekend, but
he did switch to Suzuki's.
He did switch to the G8.
I'm not saying that's what happened, but yeah.
Sucks.
The kid was like during the weekend.
Sunday's race. I thought he was up in the second or third spot there.
He did. He's high-sided or something.
Yeah.
Around the right
I think he chucked the thing into the scenery.
Yeah.
He was texting me throughout the weekend, asking me if there were attack rear sets available for that thing. So I think Richard's gonna have to make some at some point, but he's busy making R9 crap. So. What?
You have to hook up at the attack rig over there when everybody needs something with the attack tubes or rear sets. You got them.
I should start bringing spares to the track on MotoAmerica weekends. Altus is supposed to.
Oh. Nice.
Talking of that team, what do you guys think of that whole Tyler and Jarrett mishap on the Friday when Tyler braked pretty hard in front of Jarrett and Jarrett ran into the back of him? I don't know. Have you guys seen that footage?
I did, and Jarrett rode all weekend.
Yeah, I saw the crash truck, but I didn't see the incident.
Yeah, I was going into turn 1.
Yeah. I guess it stirred a bit of controversy there.
Oh, you did?
No. I guess
that did.
That whole clip, because a lot of people were kind of saying that Tyler cut off Jarrett, and a lot of people were saying that was Jarrett's fault because he passed him, and you're the one who's not supposed to ass pack someone, the guy that you're following. But I don't know. It looked like a pretty 50-50 call to me. I just wanted to.
Also known as a racing incident.
Yeah, I mean, it was a practice session, but it definitely sucked that one of the guys ended up on the ground. But I think it could have been a whole lot worse.
Yeah,
that's
I mean, the controversy I heard was that between Peterson and Hayes.
Oh no, those guys were the most chilled crash I've ever seen. Usually
it looked chill, but I heard there was some stuff after.
They were hanging out watching the rest of the race.
No, not between them, but the teams.
Okay. No, yeah, I was about to say Peterson and Hayes are pretty big boys. I thought that they handled it well. Normally if you get taken out by someone, you want to go and punch their freaking lights out. But I mean, they 100%. Were talking on the side. Cam actually mentioned
it wasn't between the riders. I think it was about the teams. Like, there's always something.
Yeah. Peterson actually mentioned that Hayes helped him get his legs out of the fork, so wedged in there. So I mean, Hayes did him a real big one there. Helping him out rather than focusing on trying to pick up his own bike and get back out there. So both of them handled it good. Both of those guys are really good, chilled guys, and there was nothing malice there. I think. I mean, both those guys are legends of the paddock.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I just said. I heard stuff. Like,
you're just causing shit here, stirring up the pot. Man.
No, you know what, man? I will tell you this, dude. Cam Peterson looked like he was getting some on Saturday. And it's crazy to see him get some like that, knowing that he's just constantly injured. Like, the dude he's got the worst luck this season of anybody in the paddock. Like, that dude is broken and smashed and constantly getting himself back up and getting going again. And it's like, he's burned. Was he burning sage and stuff?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
he's gonna
Last
start
race,
having like a seance in there. Like,
yeah.
he's
I
got
mean,
to do
some
whatever he's got
guys
to
just
do,
don't.
man.
Yeah, I mean, some guys just don't balance, as well as some of
Yeah,
the other guys do. Some guys will end up house sliding fourth gear pinned and they'll pick themselves up and nothing much
yeah,
happen. And some guys tuck the front and the collarbone breaks. It's just how the luck of the game
yeah,
goes, I guess. And unfortunately, Cam's caught a lot of really bad breaks. But yeah, he always comes back strong, and so it showed on
yeah,
Saturday's race. He could barely hold on to the bike on Friday, and then ended
yeah,
up getting a podium. So,
Well, and
I think you got to stick it out, and he always does.
and
yeah.
I know that the Mario was going to jump on that bike.
He actually did
He
the
did.
qualifying 1 and qualifying 2. So I kind of thought that maybe Cam hurt his shoulder and he wasn't going to ride, so they put Demario on it.
Yeah,
Because I actually saw him out on the track during qualifying 1. And then
Yeah,
I
you're
saw
like, wait,
Cam.
what?
Yeah, no, I was like, well, what the hell? And then, yeah, so I saw Cam
yeah,
afterwards, and he kind of mentioned that they had both of their bikes out on the track just in case Cam had to pull out. That I think that you have to do a few qualifying laps to actually be able to get into the race or something along those lines. I'm not
Hmm.
100%.
Not like just a provisional.
Yeah, I
Like,
guess
oh, we
it's.
know you're fast. You'll be fine. Like
Yeah,
that.
Yeah,
no, I mean
Yeah,
he's a super talented kid. He's going to definitely be
yeah,
someone to carry on looking out for in the future.
yeah. It's
yeah,
pretty great watching those guys work it too, because it's like you see the 45 bike, and then you see basically Griggs's bike sitting there without Griggs riding it, and then you see another one there with the 27 on it, and it's like, who's number 27? What the fuck is? And then
yeah,
it's okay,
yeah.
yeah, that's cool.
Um, and speaking of noobs, you had mentioned the Japanese kid, the 16-year-old
Yeah,
Japanese kid. That kid was ripping on the.
yeah,
It
he
was
was.
it was cool to see the Vesper bike out. That was Hayden's bike that he had been riding for Mark Young, and he did the what was it, the Pro Cup at Vintage Fest on that bike,
Mm.
and he did the Loudon Classic on that bike.
Yes, yeah, I know that Hayden. I think he actually won the Loudon Cup Classic last year, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a very good motorbike. I got in behind that guy 1 or 2 corners, and yeah, he definitely charges. He was out of shape every single corner. But yeah, it's obviously a super talented kid. I think that he has won every single round of the Asia Cup talent deal. I'm not
Yeah.
sure what that is really, but yeah, I mean, and also to kind of be with that MotoGP guy. I don't know what the guy's name is, but he's the main
Like
MotoGP Honda guy.
Fukuhara-san or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, so to be traveling with those guys, you obviously have some serious backing, and he'll also be somebody that we have to look out for.
Yeah, for sure. And Hank Vosberg got a ride in Twins Cup as well
Yeah,
for Antlers, right? Uh,
Yeah.
so that
yeah.
was awesome.
I think I met that dude. I think I talked to Fosberg.
Yeah,
I don't know. I got to go through my stuff.
yeah, that's funny. Well, we're getting close to closing up, and we haven't even gotten a chance to talk about MotoGP. But what is there really to
Like,
talk
who
about?
cares?
I mean, Marquez is absolutely wiping the floor with all of those guys. But also, I just want to hear what you guys have to think about the whole Martin Bezecchi, Aprilia deal. Because yeah, you obviously saw Bezecchi got second on Sunday, proved that the bike can be up at the front. And then Martin still kind of wants to leave the team and go to Honda because I third he's getting a massive paycheck there. But then the Aprilia boss came out and said that they'll take Martin to court. So
Yep.
Yeah,
it's just
I've been
turning
seeing
into a
I've been seeing
reality
that
show
too.
shit
I've
here.
been seeing that too. It's like, Martin's like, I'm out, peace out, and Aprilia's like, no, dude, no, you're not
I think
no.
Martine's an idiot. If I
I
personally
think so
think
too. Yeah.
dude, go for it. And they got a good bike. The whole company's behind you to do
You
this
haven't
thing.
even finished a friggin' race yet, bro,
No,
and you want to quit. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
ridiculous. But
I
I mean,
think
also the crazy thing was when that whole news broke about him wanting to leave the team, the very next race, like 4 days later, Bezzecchi went and actually won. So he must be eating his own words at the moment, right?
Oh yeah.
Right.
Well, I think he's
Yeah,
just got. I honestly think the bike. He thinks the bike has bad juju.
yeah, yeah,
If you look objectively, he got hurt at Sepang,
Yeah.
ruined the whole season. Right, whole season
yeah,
wiped out. He finally gets on the bike after all that rehab and cutter.
Yeah.
Bam on the ground. May not have been his exact. It may not have been the bike's fault. You know, it looked like kind of a combination of just the race and the track conditions and all that, and he was a little out wide and racing conditions. But again, got massively hurt. I mean, like really bad
yeah. I
injuries.
mean,
Now
both
he's
of those
slowly
Yeah.
getting back.
illustrations.
So
Yeah.
he's probably like, I need out of this thing. This thing's gonna kill me. I don't want to ride on this bike anymore. Get me somewhere else. That's
Yeah,
his
Yeah.
but
Dude,
also I don't know
the
how
chat
true
is blowing up about this subject,
numbers
by the
are,
way.
but Honda, apparently offered him 15 million, whereas the team he's riding for now, they can't be paying him more than 3, 4, 5 million. Absolute
yeah,
max.
Take the
So
yeah,
money. Take the money.
he's probably looking at a $30 million 2-year deal going to Honda. Which is
Yeah.
you'd have to race for another 6 or 7 seasons on that bike. But I think it was kind of a pussy way out that you haven't finished a single race and you want to leave. I think you got to
yeah.
give
You
the,
didn't even give
the
the bike a chance.
chance.
They didn't give it a
Yeah,
chance.
yeah.
Yeah.
You got to give it a
I think
chance.
it's a better bike, and Honda's probably heavily invested in 2027. But
When the
if you
new
go
rules
back
come
and
in,
look
yeah.
at if you go back and look at the Marquez situation, right? That bike just started going downhill, and
Yeah.
Marquez was riding the shit out of it. Which Ducati's in the same position. So, how they mentally did that without addressing everybody else, because it's like, well, if Markin went on it, let's just put all our eggs in one basket and let it go. I don't care about anybody else.
And if
Mark,
he's smart, dude, like, who knows? I mean, when the rule change goes into effect, dude, Aprilia could have some kind of sick thing that, like he doesn't even know. He hasn't given it a shot to find out.
yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It could all be bullshit too, right?
I mean,
Yeah,
who
I
knows?
mean, but if Bezzecchi was in 15th place as the fastest rider, you might say maybe it's a good
Yeah,
thing that he leaves, goes for the money. But Bezzecchi's won one, finished second on Sunday, and I definitely think that Martin's a better rider than what Bezzecchi is. Just if you
yeah,
look at
exactly.
the
That's
the rider
exactly the
for
point.
rider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bezecchi's figured out how to go fast on the bike. Now he's missing that last half second to fight with Marquez, because Marquez probably had a half a second in the bank for that whole race. And you could see he couldn't get into the corners, because at Assen it was really hard because Mark would shoot off the corner and get him that break where Bezecchi couldn't attack going into a braking zone. He couldn't get there. You could always see him just kind of squirt out a little bit. So, Sachsenring's going to be a whole different ball game. Mark's pretty much going to
Marquez is
be
going to dominate, and they don't even look at anybody else. I mean, it's basically a left-hand dominant track, and we all know how strong Marquez is on those flat track left-hand corners.
So
yeah.
I've had multiple comments from Joel RN. It says it's fan time now.
Oh, it's fan time?
It's fan time. We got to go to the chat apparently.
Oh, okay. So we're being dictated by Joel right now.
I'm just saying,
right now.
like,
Well, yes, and Rick brings up a good point. Jorge he's got a little fairy in his ear by the name of Alicia Spargaro.
oh, totally.
And, he's probably chirping in his ear like, hey, dude, come on. I can get you a better deal on Honda. This is what's going on. Exactly what he did at Aprilia.
Yeah, I think he was the one who had actually kind of pushed him towards the Aprilia team. Now he wants to push him towards Honda, but I think that even he can see that the Honda bike doesn't have the potential that the Aprilia does.
No,
personally.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it won a
When the
race.
rule change happens, though,
Yeah, but that was half wet to half dry. Those are conditions. But if it was a proper dry race, which is
Yeah,
80% of the calendar,
yeah,
Aprilia is going to win.
yeah. They're way far. Look at where everybody else is. Like,
Yeah.
and it's not like they're all slouches. Mir's not a slouch. He's had the worst luck for the whole
Dude, that
season.
guy can't keep the bike upright though. I mean,
No,
that guy's
he's
on the
he's getting
ground every
crashed
single time
out
he
and
goes after
crashing.
on track. Yeah,
Ugh.
it's crazy. He's
so
definitely
there's a bunch
costing
of
them a hell of a
questions.
lot of money in spares. That's for sure. I know that he's the quickest guy, probably looking at the outright speed. But I mean, Zarco's also been pretty good. But yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, Mir
these
just
are really good.
ends up on the ground way too much.
Yeah.
So that Abraham dude, he sent me pictures of work boots' superbike, and the forks and shock on it look pretty K-Tech to me.
All right, well, he still got him on there. Thank you
Olin's,
for the.
Olin's don't have black shock and black forks, do they?
Nope, and a red spring, right?
There you go.
There you go. There you go. So he's still rocking the
Thanks
K.
for that, Abe. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. No, that's good. That's good investigative journalisming.
And how about this? Irate Barry from Utah wants to know if Matt is cheating because he's like 6 foot plus dragging his elbow.
I think
Is that
actually helps a little bit more. 6'1". I think I'm definitely. I was going to say second tallest Supersport rider, but probably the third after Corey and Jake Lewis.
Yeah.
I think Corey and Jake have to be 6'3", 6'4". But I mean, with what I was talking about early on, that we have those added clip-ons that the handlebars are pushed about 1 to 2 inches forward. It's definitely given me a lot more space. I think that the R9's bigger than the R6, but I've just always naturally dragged my elbow.
And in the chat, Righty comes in talking about Irate Barry, and he's probably only saying that because he's jealous because he's a midget. I mean, under 5 feet or just over.
Just over 5 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a midget. He's a midget.
I guess
with long hair though. He looks like Abe, kind of.
We do have to talk about Diego Moreira and his challenge to the championship for Moto2, and I think it's pretty awesome. And Joe Roberts had a hell of a.
Dude, he got a top 5, didn't he?
Yep, he did. He was aching for a podium, but Diego Moreira has come through, and Canet again consistent, still consistent, which was pretty awesome to see. So well, I think that championship is shaping up real nice with a couple of guys at the front. So, as far as MotoGP, I think it's. I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna say it's over.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say it's over. He's gonna equal Rossi. Still not the GOAT, but he's gonna equal Rossi's number of championships. Still doesn't have the amount of wins Rossi has. So.
Yeah, I'm a massive Marquez fan, and I think that we're witnessing one of the greatest comebacks of anybody. After almost.
Yeah, I will totally admit that.
Coming back, and he's dominating it now. And I think, like you said, Marquez is the odds-on favorite. It's only going to be him.
Hey, is it just me, or am I hearing like static from Matt?
Yeah, Matt's mic is crapping out or something.
Taco Bell, Matt. Taco Bell, Mike.
From you guys as well. Should I just leave and come back with you?
Yeah, it's you, man.
Yeah, it's bad.
Oh, yeah, you're kind of in and out.
Are you on your phone?
Yeah, he's on his phone.
Oh, laptop?
Oh, he's got his Taco Bell internet, is what people are saying.
Yeah, he's scratching out.
Okay, he's gonna jump back on.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's keep going to the chat.
Burger King. He's got Burger King Wi-Fi.
Yeah, Burger King Wi-Fi. Okay. Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's. Hey, listen, man. Don't be talking about Boosie's. Boosie's got legit.
All right.
Oh yeah, come on, Cody. He almost did. He got ahead of Mark in 2015. Mark was third, so yeah, he was ahead of a championship. So
he's like, no fan time? Why? What do you mean, dude?
We are doing fancy.
we've been having fan time, man. We're going to the comments, man. Like,
Jeez.
jeez, I got a
Bunch of random
nag.
Spaniards
Come
and
on out.
Italians in the chat.
Jeez.
Not like them tough South Africans. That's all I'm talking about.
Dude, this guy, this South African though, like he kind of whoop your ass though, right? Like this guy, Matt, you're a black belt in something or other, right?
In the karate, yeah, but that was a long, long time ago.
Yeah, like you
I
forgot
was a kid
everything.
when I was doing that. Yeah.
You're gonna
Yeah.
say you're gonna outdo Aaron Yates one of these times or what?
What's that for? As far as?
Yeah,
Sorry, guys,
he's kind of
I'm gonna-
asking if you're gonna drop kick somebody in your leather.
We're gonna have to send you the video of Aaron Yates straight up drop kicking a guy
Anthony
after he
Pinillo.
crashed him out.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Wasn't that during the Daytona 200 or something? I've seen.
No,
this
it was
video.
like at Mid Ohio or something like
That was
that.
at Daytona. It was
Daytona?
at Daytona. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah.
a crazy move. Just run up to somebody 2 foot drop kick.
Oh, it was impressive. He got some pretty good air.
And then Righty, because Marquez has been winning, you know, Righty is saying has anybody done a welfare check on Chunky Buns?
Oh, I think she's doing fine.
She's still making memes and stuff. I think she's just working.
Is? Yeah.
She's got like a
And
job.
She's got a
and
husband.
stuff.
She's
Oh
got
yeah,
a husband now.
that too. She busy.
In more ways than one.
So that the Japanese kids, you know what? There was a kid at the track, and you know, I thought it was cool that the Japanese kid came out on the Vesra bike. And truthfully, there were some Japanese dudes there from Vesra proper watching as well.
Oh, really?
So, but yeah, there was another kid. I'm not gonna say his name. I don't really remember his name, but I guess he had come over here from the British champion. Matt, I told you about this, right? And the kid was saying that all his buddies in the UK were like, "What are you going to America for? Well, you trophy hunting?" Like the perception over there is that the MotoAmerica Championship is weak sauce, and everybody in BSB and anywhere else should just come over here and just take everybody's stuff, take all the money. And
I think every single person who has thought that has gotten whooped. I think that when
got
Daz was the first one here at the 21, 22, or whatever it was, everyone thought, oh my God, he's going to actually win every single race. And I think he maybe won one. And then I think Petrucci was the next one straight out of MotoGP. Everyone thought he was going to win every single race. Gagne still took the title, and then Petrucci went on to go and do a few World Superbike rounds at the end after that and podiumed 4 out of the 6 races, you know, and he's a regular podium guy now. So I think if anybody has that perception, they're smoking their own socks.
Yeah, and if you look at
they're smoking their own socks.
Smoking their own socks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at Garrett. Garrett's still doing pretty decent on the Kawasaki, and all the rest. I mean, Taz McKenzie split from MIE Honda.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have a ride anymore, and you know, maybe that team is struggling quite a bit, and they're just not doing the right things. But you know, Scott Redding's going to go back and race BSB for Glenn Irwin.
He's going to go back and race BSB for money.
Yeah, but also, you know, just to circle back to the World Superbike Championship and Taryn McKenzie, I think his name is Ryan Vickers.
Yep, Ryan Vickers.
Previous Ducati team. Yeah, and I think he finished 3rd in the British Superbike Championship last year. You know, he's on one of the better teams now, and Gerloff's beat him in every single race. You know,
and he's on a Ducati.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, you know what I mean? And maybe on a bike it isn't quite as capable as that team, you know, so it just shows that the US guys are definitely stronger than what the rest of the world thinks of.
Yeah, but that was what's his nuts? Number 47. That was his old bike.
The Axel Bassani.
Yeah, Axel Bassani's. That was his old team. And he was winning races and podium on that bike. So it's not like that team's not capable.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Rick Jenkins in the chat is saying that the GP championship isn't a sure thing either because the Marquez brothers are jumping on the ground twice a weekend. I mean, Marquez is his own enemy. Like he's admitted that, right? Like it's his championship to lose at this point, and if he chucks it into the scenery a bunch, that's a possibility, right? So
I mean, the dude was wearing stitches all weekend, so
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know that he has put it down a few times, but he definitely does it mostly in practice, and I think that he's a lot more calmer on the Ducati than he was on Honda. The Honda, he was hostile himself every second time, crashing in the quickest corners, there totaling 2-3 boxers in a weekend. I think now it's just maybe
Right.
front end tuck. Like, yeah, I don't front end tuck. It's definitely not the same. On the
yeah.
edge, every single corner riding that he was doing. So I mean, but
Well,
anything can possibly happen. It's a motorbike race.
he was always having to override that Honda the worse it got, just like Casey. When the Ducati was going south for Casey before he bailed, he was having a real hard time like riding that bike, and he was crashing a lot. Same for Mark. Even though in 2019 that was like his best year ever, and it was pretty much at the almost the worst the bike has ever been, and he still managed to do that. And then the bike bit him, and he were overriding the bike, and that Honda was just no good. So
Hey, so Joel in the chat has asked this a couple of times.
yeah,
Scroll up to find the first time he
I saw it.
But he's wanting to know if Mr. Scholtz would consider a Suzuka endurance ride if you got invited.
I would definitely love to do it sometime, somewhere, but with the contract I've got now, I'm only racing this championship for these tracks.
Yeah. But if the contract wasn't anything and you got invited to go, would you go do it?
I would love to do it. Obviously, have to honor all
It's
the
track to do it.
stuff now. No, yeah, that would be best case scenario, really. But yeah, I mean, I would love to do all of those, races. Would love to do the Daytona next year. I haven't done that one. Would love to do the Loudon Classic. I would love to do the 24-hour, Suzuka Le Mans, all of that stuff. Maybe the Isle of Man someday too, if something pops up there.
Oh, come on. Let's not get too crazy. Come on now.
Or Spa, the 8 hours of Spa.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That would. So you're saying you would do the Jason Pridmore route, and like at the twilight of your career, just go endurance racing.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what the future holds? But yeah, I think that type of racing is extremely difficult. I think that running 15 laps is more than enough for me. But who knows? Maybe go to one of those 24-hour deals. It does seem crazy. I know that whole series is one of the world's most popular racing series. It looks like it's a crazy time, but yeah. Getting off the bike, sleeping for 2 hours, getting back on for 1 hour as fast as you can, coming back in, sleeping for 1 hour, shoving food in your mouth, going out for another hour. Yeah, that sounds painful. But who knows?
And a couple IVs and ice bath in between.
Yeah. Those guys have it tough. I mean, but the thing is, they only do 6 or 7 rounds every single season. But yeah, that's hard work, man. And to also race a superbike when it's completely dark out there, you just have a little headlight strapped on the front of the bike. That also must be completely different. I've never even thought of something like that.
So, question about that: how do you think Jack's gonna do? Jack Miller. He's going to Suzuka.
Okay, no, I didn't even know that. I mean, I wouldn't see why he couldn't be the fastest guy there. I know that Honda have a strong presence at that track. I know that we've seen past MotoGP stars doing it. Like, Stoner did it a couple of years ago. I think that's why Luca Marini hurt himself, right? Was actually testing at this Suzuka track for the 8-hour race.
Yeah, Yamaha won it 1 year with Rins and Maverick Vinales. Was that 1 year? Those two dudes were on there with was it Takahashi or one of the test riders? That was a big deal because I remember Johnny Ray was there with Kawasaki and they got second.
Dude, Rossi used to do that shit every year. Like it used to be like it used to.
That was an infamous story.
Yeah, like they made him do it, and then he's like, I don't want to do this.
Well, no, so he crashed the bike in 2000 or whatever, 2001. He crashed the bike. It was a RC51, and they made them come back. And Colin infamously said, "Don't you dare crash this bike because I don't want to have to do this again."
Yeah.
And then they won it.
Right. Yeah, Haga, like people in the chat just like naming names. Like everybody used to do the Suzuka. Suzuka used to be a big deal, you know. It's still a big deal, but it's not like it was, you know.
I still think it is.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
The stars are. I mean, okay. The top racing guys aren't doing it. Like Marquez is not doing Suzuka.
Yeah.
And
if it was the big deal, like it was in the 90s.
Yeah, because like Wayne Rainey was doing it, and Wayne Gardner, and all those guys were out there ripping. You know, Schwantz, Russell, they're all out there ripping. It was probably in their contract. I bet you.
100%.
I bet you that was in their like MotoGP or 500 Grand Prix. Then there's Suzuka.
Yeah. So all right.
Well, awesome.
We're like an hour and 10 into this thing.
Yeah.
Matt, do you ride on the street?
No. I've actually ridden a bike on the street. I've ridden like speed around, just did a couple wheelies, but I own a.
So you. I didn't hear most of that, but no.
I did.
No, sorry guys. I don't know what's happening with this mic. I'm getting a lot of static noise. Whenever you guys talk, he's coming in and out, but sometimes it's fine or not. But no,
yeah. Are you riding a bunch at Dunham's house?
Sorry guys, I'm breaking up badly.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
I was saying,
we were breaking up for him too, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Let's we gotta wrap this stupid thing anyway.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
It's
really
appreciate an honor to have Matt on the show. That dude is just an absolute beast, and you talk to him, and I hope you guys that are watching this thing can see like the dude is all heart, man. Like it's just all heart all the time. And oh look, he's kind of trying to come back. He's trying to come back.
Is he back?
He's trying to come back. But the dude is all heart. Clearly his priorities are not the computer. He is a motorbike racer, 100% all heart all the time.
Yeah.
And if you meet Matt in person, he's the same dude as you're talking to right now. And he basically wants to show up to the track, smash everybody, and go home and hang out with his wife. Right.
Exactly.
But yeah, sorry that your computer technology problems have caused issues with the chat, but I think we got a lot out of you, Matt. And plans for Laguna. Can you hear us at all? Or
yes. You guys are definitely a lot more clearer now. Sorry, man, it keeps on dropping in and out.
Oh, good.
Like Dustin said, I don't really do the tech stuff too much. I'm more just sit on a bike and twist the throttle. But yeah.
Laguna, baby. Laguna.
Yes, Laguna next weekend. Only 10 points down in the championship. I'm really, really hoping to claw some back. Last year, PJ passed me on the last lap twice. So that one hurt. I'm looking for some payback there. But I think the R9 is definitely going to make things a little bit better for me climbing up that hill up to the corkscrew. We were suffering on the R6, so I think with this added torque, it's only looking good for us. But I know that Blake's good there, Peterson's good there, so I'm hoping the guys are all going quick, but not as quick as me.
Quick.
We'll see.
That's awesome,
man. Well, Matt, dude, thank you for joining us for the show and letting us talk with you for a little bit. And I know it's late on your side of the country. Ricky Bobby's on that side of the country as well.
Yeah.
So, I want to say, huge thanks to everybody in the chat putting up with us.
Putting up with us,
yeah. And you know what, man? Like, John Righty mentions that we didn't talk about Teague Hobbs in, getting a P4, which
Yeah.
is huge for
Awesome
him.
to see the Teague there battling for the podium. I know those BPR guys have been kind of struggling with the new R9, but yeah, it's good to see that he figured things out. You know, I've always said he's a pretty talented guy, and he is a little bit better than the results he's been getting. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we know that you're riding at Laguna next. Ricky Bobby, I think you're still riding in September.
Yeah, I'm still riding in September. Got the bike is back home, and I'm putting her back together for a date at KWS with the Goat Man himself, and we're going to tune that 765 and get her ripping good. And yeah, I will. At this point, I am going to VIR, so I will see you all there.
All right.
Don't forget, you have to organize a photo with me and Keanu.
Yes, if he's there, I got to work on that.
Yeah,
I gotta work on that.
Sure, I'm sure he's definitely on that. The next time I ride is July 19th at the new circuit at Buttonwillow. We're hosting a Air Fence fundraiser for the Road Racing World Action Fund. Got some stuff to give away. Working on getting some more. Working on suit loaner stuff. Like, it's just going to be a nonstop thing, and people, please keep signing up. It's a Saturday. You want more Saturday events. You know, all of that stuff. And again, thanks to everybody for watching this crap. Please subscribe, comment in the chat, you know, mash all the buttons, if you will. And, you know, Ryan from Horsepower Rodeo was proven correct. At the beginning of the show, he said that he suggested that there's going to be a lot of Yamaha love here. Well, duh. Like, 2 out of the 3 people in this thing are Yamaha folks, right? So, there you go. But yeah, Bobby, I'm going to give you the final, and then we'll wrap this thing up and go.
All right. Well, thank you everybody again for hanging out. Really appreciate it. We love doing this. You know, it's been a great time, great chat with Matt. Thank you so much. And yeah, we'll see you guys later.
Peace.
Yeah.